Furthermore, divine power manifests through the manifestation of existence itself, reflecting from the degree of Allah's necessary existence. Like light passing through the eye of a needle and then illuminating a vast circle, divine power displays its manifestations upon transparent planes through subtle representations and reflections. Just as a single point of light may expand and illuminate a wide area, so too, the luminous power of Almighty Allah creates an entire universe from a single point. The acts of creation arising from His power, if attributed instead to material causes, atoms, or nature, the existence of the universe and everything in it would either become completely impossible or would require endless difficulties. 14. We must know with certainty that life, light, and existence possess transparent aspects on both their outward, mulk, and inward, malakut dimensions. Therefore, when divine power manifests in creation upon life, light, and existence, that power does not remain hidden beneath dense, dark material causes. Indeed, those apparent causes become so subtle and delicate that the operation, control, and manifestation of divine power within them become almost visibly apparent. Whoever carefully examines the realities of life and light will clearly observe the workings of divine power beneath causes. For example, divine power creates living clusters of grapes through nothing more than a lifeless, slender branch. It displays the image of the sun through a tiny piece of glass in a narrow opening. It illuminates an entire house through the filament of a thin wire enclosed within glass. Thus, Almighty Allah's power brings forth life, light, electricity, and existence itself through the simplest, lifeless, unconscious means. 15. Those who do not attribute the creation of things to Almighty Allah, the infinite, eternal, one and only sovereign of the universe, fall into intensely painful spiritual anguish due to the illnesses of misguidance within their souls and hearts. Because they attribute creation to nature, causes, unconscious things, and coincidence, they remain trapped in spiritual suffering and torment. Yet hearts find peace only through His remembrance. Every difficulty and every problem has its key in the hand of Allah's eternal will, and all difficulties can only be resolved through His power. Therefore, salvation and healing are found only by fleeing to the necessary being, Wajib al-Wujud, the one and unique, Wahid al-Ahad Allah, by seeking refuge in Him and entrusting all matters to Him. Indeed, Almighty Allah declares in the Quran, "Flee unto Allah," Quran 51:50, and He also says, "Verily, hearts find rest only in the remembrance of Allah," Quran 13:28. There is no other refuge, no other shelter, no other place of reliance. Only by taking refuge in the court of mercy of Almighty Allah, the all-powerful, Qadir, and self-subsisting, Qayyum, and by placing trust in Him, can people attain success in their affairs. This truth, too, opens another window, in the form of truthful spiritual intuition, Hadzi Sadiq. That truthful intuition points toward the light of Islam, and the light of Islam points toward submission to the reality of prophethood, which in turn points toward the light of faith in Allah, the Wajib al-Wujud, the Wahid al-Ahad, the necessary being, and the one and only God. All these truths are arranged like beads upon a rosary and connected like the links of a chain. Thus, the universe, with all its particles, molecules, atoms, and every living and non-living being within it, bears witness through all their tongues from this window, proclaiming, Allahu la ilaha illa hu. There is no deity except Allah. 16. The apparent causes, such as bread and yogurt, are simple, limited, constrained, weak, lifeless, unconscious, and devoid of will. Some of them are merely outer forms and coverings, rather than true realities and essences. Likewise, the so-called laws of nature are merely conceptual and abstract notions. They possess no independent physical existence. They are only known through the actions of those who implement them, and their imagined existence becomes apparent only after the results appear. Since the outcomes we observe are full of marvelous artistry and astonishing perfection, these outcomes cannot truly be attributed to such apparent causes or imaginary laws. For example, the transformation of bread into flesh, nerves, eyes, and ears within the body cannot be attributed merely to the atoms and nutrients within bread. Likewise, the functions and movements within the brain cannot be explained merely by the fibrous structure of brain tissue. The countless orderly inscriptions, images, memories, and forms written into the tiny seed-like faculty of memory cannot be attributed to bread, yogurt, food particles, or their atoms. Indeed, the faculty of memory is actually a sample and miniature copy of man's record of deeds. Divine power has placed within the human brain a small copy of that record so that, during the reckoning of the hereafter, man's deeds may be recalled to him. Thus, the writings of the angels and the information preserved within human memory will confirm one another. Behind the seemingly chaotic events of this worldly life lie countless mirrors preserved for eternal life. Almighty Allah, possessing infinite knowledge and fully aware of all things, records and preserves all beings within those mirrors of permanence, with perfect order and without confusion. No matter how numerous or complicated created things may be, even the smallest image and detail is perfectly recorded and preserved. Yet the marvelous inscriptions within the tiny point of memory in the human brain, no larger than a lentil, cannot arise merely from the movement of brain fibers or molecules of flesh. Likewise, our thoughts, speech, mental images, and inner perceptions cannot be explained merely through their apparent physical causes. When we examine the tongue during speech, we see only a small piece of flesh, yet even its movements are not truly under our conscious knowledge and control. Meanwhile, the realities produced, all memories, images, sounds, life experiences, everything we read, hear, and witness, are all perfectly recorded and preserved. The movements of the tongue during speech and the operations performed through breath can only be the works of an infinite power, the power of Allah. They are the result of the simultaneous manifestation of infinite knowledge and infinite will. 17. In reality, from no aspect and in no direction does there exist within the universe any true possessor of power and effect besides the Creator whose power is infinite, Almighty Allah. What are called causes, such as earth, air, water, sunlight, wind, and similar factors, are merely pretexts and outward means, visible veils only in appearance. Likewise, what are called the properties within the nature of things, such as the supposed qualities of soil, water, or sunlight, are merely names and titles. These causes are no more than lifeless fragments of glass standing before the manifestations of the rays of an eternal and infinite power founded upon eternal knowledge and will. For when such an eternal power manifests upon even the smallest and simplest thing, it produces results infinitely greater and stronger than all causes combined. Indeed, a single manifestation of divine power produces fresh and living clusters of grapes through thin, dry, lifeless vines. Yet if the creation of those grapes were attributed to nature, soil, air, water, and sunlight, and if all causes were gathered together and cooperated without the divine power operating within them, they still could never produce even a single grape cluster. 18. What are called laws and principles are merely names given to the manifestations of our Lord, Almighty Allah's knowledge, command, and will acting upon the species of beings. Thus, the so-called laws of physics, chemistry, and nature are nothing other than the manifestations of divine knowledge, command, and will. Just as the sun reflects within pieces of glass, so too the divine names manifest and reflect upon created beings. A law is merely a decree, the command of Allah, and what is called a principle is only the orderly implementation of the divine will. This truth opens a window from the realm of possibility and temporality toward the realm of necessity, from fleeting created beings toward Allah, whose existence is eternal, everlasting, and self-subsisting. Through all the results within itself, the universe bears witness through this window, proclaiming, Allahu la ilaha illahu. There is no deity except Almighty God, Allah. 19. The universe contains wondrous artistic inscriptions and infinite manifestations of beauty. These artistic perfections, executed with utmost care and perfect order, necessarily require an infinite power. Every single part and component of the universe likewise points to that same infinite power. Therefore, the universe necessarily proves and requires the existence and unity of a Creator whose manifestation of power is limitless in every respect, Almighty Allah. And once such an infinite power is proven, it necessarily follows that this power has absolutely no need for partners or assistants. On the contrary, partners are utterly impossible. For if there were any partner in the divine sovereignty, then the infinite divine power would have to become limited and finite. Yet infinite power cannot become bounded. Such a notion is impossibility upon impossibility. Therefore, singularity, infrared, and independence, istiqlal, are two essential qualities of divine lordship and divinity. Almighty Allah's power belongs solely to Him. It depends upon nothing else and possesses complete independence. Throughout history, some religions imagined multiple gods, and even Christianity, which originally began with pure monotheism, later attributed divinity and creative qualities to Jesus. Yet within the entire universe, there exists no place, no possibility, and no evidence whatsoever for any partner alongside Allah, the Creator of the heavens and the earth. There is not even a single indication anywhere in existence that another creator or deity exists besides Him. Whichever thing we examine in the universe, we will see the seals of divine unity, Tawhid, upon it. All beings reject polytheism, imagined gods, and false deities. The clearest proof of this is that the noblest and most honored creature in the universe, man himself, who outwardly possesses the greatest apparent will and control among causes, still has almost no real control even over his own simplest actions. In eating, drinking, and speaking, human control is not even 1%. The motions of the tongue, jaw, teeth, muscles, and digestive systems occur beyond our awareness and control. When we speak, we do not consciously move our tongues and jaws with detailed knowledge. We merely possess a slight intention or inclination to speak. The rest unfolds outside our conscious awareness. Thus, even the most honored creature, man, remains helpless and powerless regarding true causation. So how then could lifeless, unconscious, dead causes possess real creative power? 20. Consider this. If a king sends you a gift wrapped in cloth, an envelope, or a box, could that wrapping possibly be regarded as the king's partner or assistant? From this example, we may clearly understand that causes are nothing more than outward veils for divine power. Within this world of wisdom and testing, they merely conceal the operation of Allah's power behind apparent means. They are only external points of reference suitable for the wisdom of this worldly examination. This truth opens another window toward the existence and unity of Allah, and through that window the universe cries out with the aforementioned tongue, proclaiming, Allahu la ilaha illa hu. There is no deity except Allah. 21. Furthermore, the beautiful names of Almighty Allah, which manifest and rule throughout the administration and governance of the universe, support and reinforce one another. They intertwine and form networks together within all things, even within a single particle or atom. Some divine names, such as Al-Alim, the All-Knowing, encompass all things through the evidence of their manifestations visible throughout creation. Likewise, names such as Al-Qadir, the All-Powerful, embrace everything within their vast sphere of operation. 22. These divine names, through their mutual manifestations and reflections within one another, are interwoven like the 7 colors within the light of the sun. They manifest together within creation. This condition proves that the owner and named one, Musamma, of these divine names is one, namely Allah, the Wahid and Ahad, the Fard and Samad. Thus, this truth opens another window toward Allah, the necessary being whose existence is absolutely certain, the one and unique, ever-present and all-observing everywhere. And through this luminous tongue, the universe bears witness, proclaiming, Allahu la ilaha illa hu. There is no God except Allah. 23. Throughout the universe, both within its parts and as a whole, there appears a universal manifestation of wisdom containing purpose, consciousness, will, and intentional choice. Everything is created with meaningful and purposeful results that display knowledge and will. This necessarily points to the existence and unity of Allah, the possessor of infinite wisdom, who creates with purpose and meaning. For an action without an actor is logically impossible. If there is a work, there must be one who performs and produces that work. Could a lifeless object that itself has been made and worked upon possibly become the conscious doer and producer of such universal acts? 24. Upon the face of the universe shines a perfect care, assistance, and divine favor. This reality of divine care contains within it wisdom, grace, beautification, and benevolence. That is, someone bestows blessings and gifts with wisdom and purpose. This necessarily indicates the existence and unity of a Creator who possesses generosity and munificence. For gifts require a giver, and sustenance and blessings require a generous provider, Muhsin and Razak. The opposite is inconceivable and absurd. 25. Spread across the face of the universe and diffused throughout creation is a vast mercy. This mercy contains within itself wisdom, divine assistance, generosity, bestowal of blessings, grace, love, and self-disclosure. That merciful one grants blessings and favors filled with wisdom, so that the servants touched by that mercy may know him and love him. These realities of mercy, care, generosity, and blessing necessarily indicate the existence and unity of a Rahman and Rahim, the most merciful and compassionate one. For an attribute without one who possesses it is impossible. To clothe the heavens and the earth with these garments of mercy spanning the cosmos can belong to none but Almighty Allah. Where are blind, deaf, unconscious, lifeless, and deficient causes? And where are these countless garments of mercy spread throughout the universe? 26. The universal distribution of sustenance according to the varying needs of living beings contains within it wisdom, care, mercy, protection, preservation, love, and the desire to make himself known and loved. This necessarily points to the existence and unity of a Razak al-Rahim, a merciful provider of infinite compassion. For an action without an actor is impossible. If there is a universal act of providing sustenance, there must necessarily be one who performs it, and something which itself has been acted upon cannot possibly become the independent doer of these universal actions. 27. Spread throughout the universe and scattered across the earth is life, vitality, and livingness, filled with wisdom, divine assistance, mercy, sustenance, subtle artistry, delicate adornment, beauty, and meticulous care. These realities can only arise from intentional purpose, consciousness, perfect knowledge, and will, to create with wisdom and purpose, to assist living beings, to provide them sustenance with mercy, to beautify them with subtle art, and to grant them perfect life and vitality. All these can only occur through conscious intention and the manifestation of knowledge and will. This reality of life points to the existence and unity of a Qadir and Qayyum, the all-powerful sustainer who upholds all beings in existence, the Muhyi and Mumit who grants life to all living things and later gives them death. 28. Since everything possesses unity and interconnectedness, since similarity, harmony, and togetherness are found in all things, then their Creator must also be one. For everything that possesses unity and harmonious order can only proceed from one. For example, although every human face is distinct and uniquely differentiated, all faces nevertheless share the same general form: 2 eyes, 1 nose, 2 lips, and 2 ears. This proves that the maker of all human faces is one single Creator. At the same time, the fact that all faces are different from one another demonstrates that the Creator acts with will and intention, seeing all faces simultaneously from pre-eternity to post-eternity, and creating each uniquely according to His will. Yet, polytheistic and materialistic European philosophy falsely claims that from one thing only one single effect may emerge, imagining that a creator makes one thing and then leaves the rest to created causes, deism. But the unities, harmonies, and similarities throughout creation prove that the Creator of all beings is one and the same. This universe has only one Lord possessing all perfect attributes and qualities, a Lord of infinite power, infinite knowledge, infinite wisdom, infinite generosity, and infinite mercy, the Rahman, Razak, Hoy, and Qayyum. From the combination of all these truths emerges a single radiant light, pointing toward the light of Islam, which in turn submits to the reality of prophethood, and that points finally toward the light of faith in Huwallahu al-Wajib al-Wahid al-Ahad. He is Allah, the necessary being, the one and unique. He is the one who is ever present everywhere, whose existence is absolutely certain reality. Thus, through this window, the universe bears witness with a 5-tone tongue, proclaiming, Allahu la ilaha illa hu. There is no God except Allah. 29. Upon the face of the universe there shines a beauty that is bestowed and granted afterward, not a beauty originating from the universe itself, or belonging eternally to it by its own essence. Rather, it is a beauty granted to the universe and to all things within it. These manifestations point to the certain existence and unity of a being who possesses essential and eternal beauty within his own essence and who beautifies all creation, namely Almighty Allah. 30. Moreover, a perfect beauty is reflected, manifested, and shining throughout the face of the universe. This points toward the existence and unity of the one who possesses absolute and essential beauty within his own essence. 31. Furthermore, within the heart of the universe there appears a true love and genuine affection. This necessarily proclaims and points toward a true beloved and the reality of divine love. All loves, affections, and even metaphorical forms of love within creation indicate the love of Almighty Allah, who is the possessor of true love and affection. 32. Likewise, throughout the breast of the universe there is perceived an attraction and gravitational pull. From atoms to galaxies and stars, a universal force of attraction and drawing exists everywhere within creation. These attractions point toward an all-attractive reality to whom all mysteries and all loves are drawn. Thus, all these attractions and affections indicate the existence of Almighty Allah, who draws all loves toward Himself. 33. What has been heard from all the great and perfected saints, awliya, is this. Through the testimony of their spiritual witnessing, they proclaim that the realities of all created beings and all creatures within the universe are nothing other than shadows and reflections of the lights of the essence of the one and unique Allah, manifestations of His divine names and luminous signs. That is, whatever exists within the universe are reflections and shadows of the manifestations of Almighty Allah's most beautiful names, Asma al-Husna. This truth necessarily points toward the existence and unity of one single Lord adorned with all attributes of majesty, Jalal, beauty, Jamal, and perfection, Kamal. Thus, another window opens toward Allah, whose existence is absolutely certain, and through this five-tone tongue, the universe bears witness, proclaiming, Allahu la ilaha illa hu. There is no God except Allah. 34. Within the individual members of the species throughout the universe, it is observed that there exists an interconnected governance, administration, control, and management directed toward beneficial purposes. Created beings are employed and directed precisely according to wisdom and benefit. This again points toward the existence and unity of one single wise controller and governor possessing infinite wisdom. For an action without an actor is impossible. Likewise, it is utterly impossible that lifeless, passive, acted-upon beings could themselves become the conscious authors of these universal and purposeful actions. 35. Within plants and animals, which are parts of the universe, transformations and changes occur for the sake of benefits, wisdoms, and purposes. These beings are continuously altered according to various wisdoms and goals. This points toward the existence and unity of a Lord who governs all things and creates with wisdom and purpose.